Hi there, welcome to the channel, and we have some new cards on Warhammer Underworlds online. So we can have a quick look at those, discuss which ones are going to be kind of meta changing. I know there's quite a few sort of cards on there that we've been itching to get our hands on for quite a while. So let's have a look at those, and then we can have a little chat about what's coming on the channel for the rest of this month. Okay, so here we are. So we've got 8, I believe, cards, universal cards in each category. So it's quite exciting because this could shake things up a little bit. I think it needed a little bit of injection, the game, for kind of the next few weeks while we wait for the new warband. So we'll start off with the objectives. So the first one, our only way out. Score this in an end phase if you hold 3 or more objectives. It's just the same as supremacy, but only 2 glory. To be honest, I don't know why you'd take it. If I'm being entirely honest with you, maybe the kind of like defensive stormcasty type guys will take that. I'm not overly sure on it myself. I've never really been a big fan of this particular card. If you know, just take supremacy. It's better. Master of War. Score this in the end phase if you scored an objective card, played a ploy card, and played an upgrade card in this round. I really like this. This was one of the good old cards from Shadespire that everyone took. It's definitely going to go in my deck in the future. So it's yeah, nice addition. 1 glory, quite fair because it's quite easy to score. Making a statement. Score this in an end phase if you hold all objectives, at least 1 in your opponent's territory. Score this if you hold all objectives in your opponent's territory. I mean, that could be easy to score. It's tougher to score on Warhammer Underworlds online because it's best of 1. I can't see aggro guys taking it. Could Skellies take it? I'm not sure. I could see some Skaven players possibly kind of having a play around with this particular card. But this one it's quite dependent on, very dependent on board roll, very dependent on who you're playing against. 3, I think, is quite fair because there's a lot of things to take into account. But potentially it could be really easy if you get your own way. But an interesting card that they've chucked in there. Fearless. Score this in an end phase if there are at least 3 enemy fighters adjacent to the same friendly fighter. Good for the Horde warbands, really good for the Thorns of the Briar Queen. I can see them taking that, as they've got lots of ways of just shoving the spooks up in your face. So I can see that being used by those guys. Personally, because this month I'm going to be playing one particular warband, I won't be putting it in that one, but it is something that I can probably see like the Horde warbands taking. Escalation. The escalation tax is here. You kind of need to take this card now it's here, because everyone's probably going to be taking it. And it's 3 or more upgrade cards, not you play 3 or more upgrade cards. So it's a tax card because of everyone else taking it, because it's so easy to score. It's really good passive scoring. I'm chucking it straight in to my deck. But good card, easy to score, 2 easy glory. Usually cancelled out by the fact that your opponent is going to be playing it anyway. Next up, concerted attack. Score this immediately if 3 or more friendly fighters made an attack action against the same enemy fighter in this phase. Can be scored if you draw this card after the condition was met. So yeah, good for Skaven, good for Skellies, good for the spooks. Anything with kind of like a low attack value. The fact that this card is here, to me, would suggest we're getting the big dog and getting Moloch next. I know of a couple of people who are going to be annoyed about that, but that would suggest to me that Moloch is coming. Brawl, score this in an end phase if all friendly fighters, at least 3, are adjacent to enemy fighters. It's a bit of a trap card, that one, I think. It sounds easy to score. If you're playing aggro, you might think, yeah, I could probably do that. But if you're playing aggro, you're probably going to want to try and kill stuff. So, a tough to score. So I think 2 is fair, but it can be a bit of a trap card. So you do need to kind of be careful with that one. And finally, Alone in the Darkness. Score this in an end phase if there are no adjacent fighters on the battlefield. Again, if you're playing aggro, that's really good because you want to be killing stuff. It's good for passive scoring, so if you get wiped out, you can still score it. Back in the day, I had a very silly Skaven deck during the Shadespire days, and Alone in the Darkness helped me win a game when all of my guys had been killed, and there was just one enemy guy left on the table. And he didn't have that, and I did. I won. So it's a really good card. It can keep you in a game. It can help you win a game. Aggro people are probably going to take it if you're likely to lose a lot of guys. So Skaven, Skellies, it's probably quite a good card to take as well. So some good objectives there. My 2 favourites, they're Alone in the Darkness and Escalation, without a doubt. High scoring cards, really good for aggro, and they will be going in my October deck that I'm going to be building. Next up, we've got the Gambit. Just ploys, there's no spells in there by the looks of this. So we have a Shatter Shard. Choose an enemy fighter and choose one of their upgrades. Roll an attack dice. On a roll of a hit or a crit, that upgrade is discarded. Great control card, that. There's not many upgrades that you kind of want to kill straight away. Maybe you want to have it as a kind of just in case. So if someone's gearing up for a kill shot, then drop Shatter Shard to get rid of their Shade Blast weapons or something like that. Shattering terrain, any fighters that make a move action are pushed or driven back in the next activation suffer 1 damage. That's good. Again, another good control card. Might make people think twice about charging. It's an extra bit of damage because it's on pushbacks as well. So I can see aggro people taking that. It's a card I'd probably think about taking. Sacrificial Pawn. Choose a friendly fighter. If they're taken out of action on in the next activation, you gain a glory point. It's a very time-specific card that you'd want to play. I don't think I ever played it in the tabletop game. I can see why people would play it. I think it's best played if someone is potentially going to die in the last turn of a round, because you can drop that card and the person will then need to think, is it worth killing this guy because you're going to get a glory? It's an interesting card, is probably how I think about it. And then the next one, ready for action. You play this after you upgrade a fighter in an action phase. They can make a move or attack action. Bonkers card, great card for aggro. Well, no, it's a great card for anyone, because every warband has someone that can pack a punch. Everyone's going to be taking this. Spoils battle. Lob something on, ready for action. Lovely, you got a free attack. Momentary Madness. I loved this card because it's just silly. Choose an enemy fighter and roll an attack dice. On a hit or a crit, make an attack action with them if they were your own friendly fighter. Fighters do not provide support for this attack action, an attack or defense. It's just a silly card. It's good. Imagine the Harvester is kind of buried amongst a lot of their own skellies, and you just take out a bunch of people. It's a silly card. It's some of the silly stuff you used to get in Shadespire. It was fun. Would I take it? Not necessarily. If I knew I was going up against Skellies, then I would probably take it just for that. Next up, Mischievous Spirits. Quite interesting that this one's in here. Take it in turns with your opponents, starting with you and going clockwise. Move each objective 1 hex. Objectives cannot be moved into a hex that already contains an objective. Oh, that's going to mess with a lot of kind of decks at the moment. Objective grabbing spooks, defensive stormcast, who are quite reliant on sitting on those objectives. So I think again this is a card everyone's going to take as a tool in the box, because I think it's quite essential if you're going up against objective play to be able to stop it. Then we have Frozen in Time. Choose an enemy fighter and roll a defense dice. On a roll of a shield or crit, that fighter cannot make any actions or be damaged in this phase. A good way of just going, hold up, stopping someone coming in for a charge, like, you know, they've got Magor on there, stopping him from doing anything in the phase is quite good. And then finally, Death Throes. I'm not overly familiar with this. Reaction. Play this card during an attack action or ploy that will take a friendly fighter out of action. Choose an enemy fighter adjacent to the target. They suffer 1 damage. Okay, that's good. So that's just a you have that. You have some of that as well. So my favourite cards out of there, Mischievous Spirits and Ready for Action. I think they're definitely going to be going in my deck. Nice additions there, but a lot to Shattering Terrain as well, potentially, because I'm going to be playing quite aggro going forward. Finally, the last 8, the upgrades. So we have Zealous Defender. This fighter is considered to have an additional supporting fighter while they are holding an objective. Nice for objective holding guys. Stormcast are going to love that. Sorry, I've just noticed something about the artwork, which I will get to towards the end. So yeah, I think if you're objective holding, you get that in there. Soul Trap. It's a reaction. During an attack action or ploy that takes this fighter out of action, roll a defense dice. If you roll a shield or a crit, they suffer no damage and are not taken out of action, and you discard this upgrade. It's an extra life, basically. You used to see this a lot. Used to see that a lot in Shadespire. It's a great card, and I can see a lot of people taking that. Solid Stance. This fighter can only be driven back by a critical hit. That's fair. Again, good for objective holding. Shadeglass Hammer. When this attack action is successful, discard this upgrade. On a critical hit, this attack action has +1 damage. Woof. Yeah, if you're a fan of the Shadeglass stuff, that goes in 100%. I forgot how good that was. That's a really good card. Helpful Whispers, again, another really good card from Shadespire. If this fighter has no adjacent friendly fighters, then rolls of support are a success when they make an attack action. Definitely going in if you're playing aggro and you have a Gerzag or Magor just to help punch through that extra. Flickering Image. Reaction. After an attack action made by this fighter that scores a critical hit, you can push them up to 2 hexes. That's quite good, particularly if you're rolling more than 2 dice and you have that extra kind of potential to get a crit. Interesting card, that one. Ethereal Shield. This fighter's defense characteristics changes to shields. Really good for spooks. Stick that on the Queen. All of a sudden she's a tank. And then Blessed Armor. When you roll a crit for this fighter, when they are targeted by an attack action, remove 1 wound token from them before any damage is done. So just a nice way of whittling down the type of damage that you can receive on there. Quite good for anyone that really, any of the elite warbands, any warband that has like fighters with Winds of Fall. So out of those upgrades, I think Helpful Whispers and Shade Glass Hammer for me are probably the two better ones. So now I mentioned that I think Moloch is going to be the next guy, but out of these, so we've got 24 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to say 6. 6 of them have dwarf artwork. Light armor, deathly fortitude. I think we've got those guys. Am I looking into that too much? Am I looking into that too much? I don't think I am. I think dwarves are next. I think dwarves are next. What do you think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments who you think's next. I think it's dwarves. I don't think they've announced who the next guys are going to be, but yeah, I think the dwarves are going to be next. That'll be interesting. Lots of kind of objective holding type upgrades, objective stuff. Yeah, I think we're going to see the dwarves. Interesting. Let me know what you think of the cards. Is it enough to kind of keep you interested in the game? I know it's in a funny place at the moment. It is, as one of the guys from Agents of Sigmar said, it is a kind of niche of a niche. But if you do play or if you've dabbled, what are your opinions of these new cards? What are your favourites? And who do you think the next warband is going to be? As that's going to be coming up pretty soon. As I think they wanted to, by the end of the year, have introduced the next stage, which is Nightbolt. And I think they want to do a warband before then. But yeah, keep an eye out on the channel. If you're interested in anything Underworlds related, whether it's online or whether it's the tabletop version, do give us a subscribe. For the rest of this month, I'm going to be focusing on all those glorious Orky stuff. So there'll be lots of Orc player online, lots of Orc decks kind of going up over the next few weeks as the league starts on Vassal, and I'm going to be playing Orcs for that. So happy October. Let me know what you think about all the cards, and hopefully see you all real soon.